RedNationBlogga back with another video. Got my guy Quinn with me. This one is gonna be different. He finally started his YouTube channel. Y'all go subscribe to his channel now. Quinn TV, Quinn TV. I really want y'all to help my guy get this content train going. Mine's is already going. And we just trying to make everybody be successful here. So a lot has happened in the NBA world. I mean, right before I pressed the record button, we just had another, I guess, breaking story, I would say, about Paul George. But we're going to talk some Bronny being drafted, Klay Thompson being a free agent, not going back to Golden State, and Paul George becoming an unrestricted free agent, or both players becoming unrestricted free agents. So, first of all, how you been? How everything going? And let's get to it.
Man, it's hot out here. I keep saying it every pod, but when I tell y'all this, like, it gets hotter every week. I don't know. Global warming is real. Just trying to enjoy what I can out here in this heat. Can't wait for fall because I'm going to be traveling this fall, so I'm excited. Hoping to hit up Brazil or Colombia, but I'm going to put that on my channel soon, so y'all stay subscribed.
What you think, man? I don't want to start with Bronny first. Let's start with
Klay.
Let's start with Klay. Okay. You already know some of my thoughts on Klay. If you haven't already seen them, I posted a little bit. But what do you think about the Klay Thompson deal? What does this mean for Golden State? What does this mean for Klay Thompson? What does this mean for the NBA?
So there's a lot of dominoes here with Golden State. Golden State's a secondary team, so they really needed like Klay or Chris Paul for trades, I believe. With Klay's situation, I feel like he feels like he did just as much as Steph and Dre did to win those championships and wants to be paid like him.
Absolutely.
To be fair, he should. He should, because we have, especially by Golden State fans, I won't say certain, not all, but we've downplayed Klay's impact to that team, to that dynasty, right? A lot of people don't think Klay is someone that should be mentioned, but he feels like, he has a value in this league, and he does. I feel like what's going to end up happening is he's going to get much more money elsewhere, and I think it's fine. I do think it is time. Like the Golden State core that won those chips, like their time, the league is caught up. Like, so it's time to totally shift strategies for Steph and the Warriors. And I think Klay. There's a lot of teams. I'd like to see Klay on like the Sixers, or I know it's not probably possible, but I think the team I would really want to see him play on is the Magic.
Okay, the Magic. I got a different team, but I just want to say this: post ACL and Achilles injury, Klay Thompson the past 3 seasons, 20 points per game, 22 points per game, and 18 points per game this year. He the last 2 seasons from 3, he actually shot phenomenal from 3. His first year back, he shot 39% from 3 on 9 attempts. Last season, he shot 41% on 11 attempts a game. And this past season, he shot 39% from 3 on 9 threes a game. This guy is still an elite shooter. In all of these, I'm looking at his minutes: 29 minutes, 33 minutes, 30 minutes, essentially this season. There is really no drop off outside of his knee injury and him just looking older, of course, post ACL and Achilles. But his production for somebody that had that type of an injury in back-to-back years is still pretty phenomenal. And I think that that's being overlooked. You said you would like to see him in Orlando. I would like to see him in Indiana. I would definitely like to see him in Indiana, getting up and down, running with that team, getting 3-point shots. And then when your half-court offense gets sticky, you got Klay Thompson, the ultimate bailout. You got Pascal Siakam down low. You got Miles Turner, who can shoot the 3 and defend in the inside and score on the inside. And you got Tyrese Halliburton running the show. If you could, you would probably have to move some pieces, but I think you can move pieces without getting rid of Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, and Tyrese Halliburton. I think you can still keep those guys and still have enough talent after acquiring Klay Thompson. So if I'm the Pacers GM, that's what I would do. But this notion that he's like washed, I guess he's washed compared to himself pre-ACL and Achilles, but he's not washed in terms of production.
Yeah, he's still a production player. Like, he also had a stretch. We don't have the number. We're going to look at the numbers, but you know what? let me look at the numbers and check here for Klay. He's been a part of some mix and match units with Golden State, and I mean, one of the ones that kind of stick out is there was a lineup of Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney, and Kuminga. Had an offensive rating of 127, which is elite. That's crazy. And then also the second best offensive rating they had was still Chris Paul, Curry, and Klay, but with Andrew Wiggins instead of Kuminga at an offensive rating of 124. There were
Wow.
times this season where where Klay was in these kind of bench mix and match units, um, or at least the part of the game where your bench players going to come in. Um, Klay was pretty good lethal weapon. So I mean, there's still ways to make him useful. He's still a valuable player. But for what Golden State needs, I just think it's time for a mutual breakup.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's I think that's we all headed that way eventually with this. I honestly thought they would maybe get something done, but I really think that they're trying to jip Klay Thompson. I really do. I think that they don't want to meet the number or they don't want to meet the amount of years that Klay wants to meet. And I just feel like he's fallen off to a degree, but his shooting in a league where you need shooting is still elite. It's still elite to me. 39% on 7 attempts. That is elite 3-point shooting. And he's 6'7". And he can play defense. He's not the elite defender that he once was, but he can still play defense. He's not a cone. Yes,
Yeah,
great players are going to cook him, but those are great players. So it's as long as he's not like just killing you on defensive end, like you should be fine. Because he can make up with it with elite 3-point shooting. And the next player that we have is Paul George. What do you think about his situation? He's supposed to be having a meeting starting late Sunday evening with Philly, Orlando, and the Clippers as well. Is there a sneaky team that you see maybe coming after him, or do you think that what do you think is the most likely scenario in that situation?
so I was of the opinion that he was going to opt in and get trade. Dude, there was going to be like a sign and trade going on with Golden State. It seemed like that was kind of where
I'm
it was
so happy
headed.
that didn't happen. By the way, like I'm happy that it didn't happen, but I would have been happy if it did happen because I don't want to step on your shit, but like I just don't believe in Paul George. So keep going. Though. I didn't want to step on you. I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
No,
Like
it's
about Golden
it's
State.
okay because they would have had to give up Andrew Wiggins, which would have been important to me because that meant that no one who's guarding anybody on that team because Paul's not the same defender he once was.
Either
So
exactly.
uh, with Paul, I don't know because like with free agency, you also got to factor in a player's family because that plays a part. Um, it's hard for me to be like Philly because I know his family really wants to stay on the West Coast and Philly and like I said, the really the only cap space teams I think of right now are Philly and Orlando. Who probably will meet with the Clippers at some point. Um,
If you don't want to leave the West Coast, Orlando is a long way to go.
and Philly's cold as hell. So
Yes, Orlando. Yeah, the quality of life in Orlando definitely with the beaches and everything. It'll give you some remnants of the West Coast, I guess. But Philly is cold and in the Midwest, and in Orlando, who I think might be ahead of Philly if they were to get this done. Orlando is a okay place to live. The weather is nice too, so who knows, and no state tax.
if I'm him, like basketball wise, I would probably go with Philly. But if I don't want to go to the West Coast, I just would have told the Clippers like you got to let somebody go and pay me, or I would have went to Golden State.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is one of those situations where, to me, if Paul George stays with the Clippers, he's not serious about winning. To me, that tells me that he's comfortable at home. He's happy making millions of dollars and playing basketball in a city that he was kind of raised by because I think he's from Fresno. So I think that this is just one of those issues where we got to accept what a player is showing you. When a player's free agent decision shows you who they are, believe them. And I think everybody wants Paul George to win more than I think Paul George wants to win. Because if Paul George wanted to win, I feel like leaving the Clippers is an obvious choice. Kawhi Leonard is never healthy. You don't know what you're going to get from him. So it's not about the money at this point if you're trying to win. And Orlando is the place to be, I think, over Philly even. But obviously you got the Joel Embiid factor. But when is he healthy? Much like your old running mate in Kawhi Leonard. So do you want to deal with that again, but in Philly? That's just my opinion on it. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, no, you're that's 1,000% valid. I mean, Embiid is right up there. And we have been giving Kawhi the benefit of the doubt for a couple of years now. So he needs to.
We have
Yeah. People have
what benefit
always
of the doubt?
because we have always prefaced the Clippers' success or whatever we perceive the Clippers to be with if Kawhi's healthy. That hasn't
Oh,
happened
okay.
in almost
Well, you don't have to
2 years.
say no. You don't. We don't need to stop. We need to stop saying that about Embiid. I heard my guy Sean. He always says, "Oh, Embiid would have won back-to-back MVPs if he didn't get." He always hurt, bro. Stop saying it, bro. So
Yeah, and
he's
it's the
not
same
gonna
with
do it.
the Clippers
He's
would have did
not
X and
gonna
X
do it.
if Kawhi was healthy. They would have beat so and so something if Kawhi was healthy. Like no, man, he's never
We do
healthy.
this every season, bro. Let's
Every
just
season.
accept the facts.
He has
Let's
not
accept
made
the
it out of
facts.
the first round but once, or actually twice. Every other year, it's been an injury in the first round, and that's it. So, like, I
Yep.
don't even know factually how do you invest in a player that won't even make it the full length of the playoffs?
Exactly.
Like that is crazy to me. Like,
And then they
forget
committed.
what happened.
They committed to him.
They are, but I don't understand. Like, I think the Clippers are scared because if they let him go, they think, well, what if he just miraculously gets healthy and has a fully healthy
If he
postseason run?
does, more power to him.
If he
More
does,
power
if
to
he
him.
does, it was just God, bro. Like no one could have saw that. Like,
Yeah, more
yeah,
power,
like,
bro. More power to him.
yeah,
You're not doing this on my team anymore. I know what's going to happen if I bring you back. If you go somewhere else and you stay healthy and win a championship, God bless you. I'm getting the picks from the team and I'm blowing this thing up. That's just how I feel personally. But we kind of
I
got
agree with
off of
that.
Kawhi a little bit. But just like I said with Paul George, going back to Paul George, I just think that if his decision is serious about winning, is not in LA, and in my opinion, it's not in Philly. It's not in Philly. It's so many other better built teams that are so much different from what you have done in OKC, what you have done with the Clippers. You've wasted so many years playing a certain type of ball that has not gotten you over the hump. Try something new, bro. Go to Orlando, play in a system that you've never played in. Get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But he's not. I just don't think that he's doing that. He's not ready to do that.
Yeah,
And
I
I
don't. I
don't know.
don't think
We'll see with his
he's.
decision, though.
I don't think he's really obsessed with winning like that. I think he's kind of just like he's kind of
Exactly.
like I'll win, but I gotta have all these things in place first before I really be like I'm gonna try
Correct.
to win.
And I mean, and it's okay to want to win at your own whatever desires that you have. If you want to win
Yeah,
at home, if you desire to win as a number one rather than lose as a number two, like if those are your desires, then who am I to say what you are to want out of your career? We only say that because a standard has been set somehow in our minds and we haven't understood about these guys. These are actually business careers.